Hi guys, Alan here. Well, the Roma seems to be doing quite well. I'm trying out the light version of the TNC and it's amazing. I did have a bit of melt at the beginning with, but I've had to cut everything back. As you can see, everything's just gone a little bit wild in here. We'll be dealing with some of the stuff today. There is something eating the fauna, as you can see. But that's a good thing, as they've got a food source, which is good. The Anubias on the wood is going crazy. So I'm going to deal with that. And the Anubias in here, so I'm going to take the Anubias out of here, that's on that bit of wood there. And I'm going to put it into the other tank eventually, because I think that's a positive. But I want to see how that goes. Hello, little fella. They're doing quite well. They don't seem to be too bothered. I mean, look, they're right next to each other. Don't really seem to care about it. The hybrids, we did have an issue with a couple of the hybrids. They're kind of schooling together a lot, which kind of makes me think that they're not happy. But the Tetras are doing well. We've got some nice colours on the hybrids. They're doing really well. I did put a leaf in there. I do suffer with hard water, and these leaves do help. Not by much, but they do take sort of like the edge off of the hard water, which means I can get away with it. We do have some melt, as you can see. There's lots of plant stuff out there. It's all going to be cleaned today anyway. It's not a big deal for me. I do love this plant, the tiger lotus or tiger lily lotus plant. Oh, one of the autos come out to play. I've been trying some different things in the tank just to see how different lighting. You know, I run the Aqua Sky on this tank, which I think it's one of the best. I mean, they're expensive, yes, and they do have all the gimmicks of being able to do storms and all that. Yes, they have all that, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the actual type of light. You see, the ones on eBay, now I've tried a really cheap light on here, which was about 30 quid, or £30 sterling I should say. And it was smaller than this one. It only had white light, so I tried that. Nothing happened. I mean, basically the plants just didn't like it at all. So I went up to a more expensive one, but this is the one that's, you know, I seem to be able to grow plants just by throwing leaves in there. They go crazy. I mean, look at the roots that have just spawned out for no reason. They just come out of everywhere. So I'm going to stick with the Aqua Sky. I think that's a positive. And I do believe we've got something going on with this guy. There's a fish in there, and it seems to want to clean it out. If you watch carefully, you'll see that these Epistogrammas are great. They've got so much character to them. There you go. Look, he's coming out, in and out, in and out. And he has been, or she has been, cleaning that out, and look, don't like anyone near her. They've got some nice colours coming on them. I will be getting some more nearite snails because I lost quite a few. My fault, unfortunately, which I don't like admitting to, but it was my fault. I used something to get rid of a worm instead of using the proper worming tablets, and it destroyed my snails as well, which, you know. Anyway, look, these Bolivian rams doing really well. They're starting to colour up a little bit more now, as you can see. Great fish. You know, people say about community fish and all that, but you got to see what works. You know, you know, I don't know everything, but I do know that the easiest way is to make sure that they're happy. If you have a happy fish, then they tend not to be aggressive and they won't hide away. And these guys are playing. You know, I mean. And I thought that the Epistogrammas might cause them a bit of grief, or vice versa. Not the case. So what I'm thinking of doing is taking the live bearers out and putting them into the other tank and getting some other fish to go in here. I am looking at shellies, I'm looking at killies, I'm looking at barbs. I've got to check out certain stats on all of those fish, and I will be doing some life studies, what I call life studies, which is basically the cycles of what happens with the fish. As you can see, we've got new plants coming there, or new leaves I should say. We did have a lot of molt, and I think it was the transition of going from the full TNC complete to the TNC light liquid fertilizer. I do tab this as well. I'm ordering some new tablets I want to try, also made by TNC. Really chuffed with the heater, guys. The Aqua, I think it's called the Aqua L Platinums. Absolutely accurate. I checked them with a very expensive thermometer. I even use an Inkbird system, which I'm not overly, you know, they do what they do, but you don't need them. You need probably an Inkbird for each tank. I've got 5 tanks, so that wouldn't be a good way forward. As you can see though, everything's going as planned. I think anyone who wants a decent plant, for aesthetics, obviously these guys are mad. You know, you'd have them at the back of the tank. These have basically propagated themselves all over the tank, but these are really easy. You get a little bulb, you put it in. As soon as the thing gets over 6 inches, or say 12 centimeters, 12 centimeters, yeah, it's about 12 centimeters I would say, you snap the black bulb off, you put it somewhere else, it does the same again. It will continue to do that, and this thing's done it itself. So that's really good. Anubias, I like the big leaf Anubias. The small leaf one is okay. The swords, I've got Amazon sword there that's doing really well, but you do need tabs with the Amazon sword. It's not liquid only. Remember this, guys, when you're choosing your plants, I will actually put a link in one of the videos, so have a look through the videos of the plants. Make sure that it's suited to your tank. So if you're using CO2, then you need a plant that's going to use that CO2, otherwise it will just hang in your tank. I have actually had it where the CO2 was at such high levels, the plants, the fish started to gasp. So I would always go with low CO2 usage for me personally. Having said that, you can go with you know, the active substrate I've got in here can change pHs. The almond leaves, again, they change pHs, so you've got to be careful and to know what you're buying. And if you can, I know people say you should quarantine fish. I always quarantine plants as well. I've had blackbeard algae come in on them. I've had snails, hydras, little white worms. You know, you got to be careful what you get. But saying that, these are looking okay. I'm going to put some more root tabs in. There are some unhealthy leaves that I'm going to prune away. I always like to take footage and I review the footage afterwards, because then you kind of get an idea of what's going on in your tank, and you might miss something. And it's always a good thing, even if you don't want to upload it to YouTube, take a video, log what you're doing, because if you get your mobile phone, just download it. I mean, you can have your own little video diary of your aquarium, and you'll be surprised how it starts off. I mean, if you look at my early videos of this tank, I mean, this was a rescue tank. It always has been a rescue tank. You know, I get different fish and that. I mean, I wouldn't kill one fish for another fish, and I wouldn't change the chemistry of this tank to suit another fish. But you know, because I've got other tanks now, I've got that sort of ambition to carry on. Anyway, I hope you like the videos. If you've got any ideas for videos, what you'd like to see, maybe give me a heads up. I say this is completely unsponsored. As you can tell from sort of the amateur side of the video, you know, I just take it on a DSLR camera and job done, you know. But yeah, any ideas, give us a shout. That hybrid, look, colours on that, they're beautiful fish. You know, they're bigger than the endlers, smaller than the guppies, live longer. You do tend to get like, you'll have a difference. You see that one up there? There's one that sits normally on that. There he is, look, he's still on that leaf. It's really weird, really weird. Alright guys, you have a good one, and Happy New Year. Take care.